Stephen Thompson proved that anyone doubting him at 39 years old or was writing him off maybe did so a little too soon with a sensational win over Kevin Holland in the UFC on ESPN 42 headliner in Orlando. Wonderboy turning back the clock of sorts in this fight. After a bit of a rough round, he was able to settle in and really pull ahead of Kevin Holland in this fight and just get all his striking techniques off, have some big moments there. Wasn't able to get the knockdown or even the knockout in this fight, but Holland's hand injury, which came maybe the result of a punch on Thompson, maybe the result of blocking a lot of kicks, but either way, he was taking a lot of shots in there, and when that hand injury did start to seemingly have the effects on Holland, that's when Wonderboy was really able to turn it on and get the fight to the point where it just didn't make sense anymore for Holland to come out for that fifth round. It was not going good for him, and I think it just would have been a lot more damage poured on by Thompson at that point in the fight. So good on Holland and his team for kind of recognizing the moment there, and ultimately though, Wonderboy does leave this fight with his hand raised. He really needed this one after the past two losses against Bilal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns. This was a very important fight for him to show he still had something left, and he showed up in a big way, and I think this just reinforces the fact that he needs to be matched up similarly to fights like Holland going forward. We want to see him fight the strikers. We don't want to see him fight all these grapplers. They're just going to hold him against the cage and take him down. I know if he wants to get to the title, which he says he ultimately does before it's all said and done, he is going to have to fight those guys in the division, and the top of the welterweight division absolutely filled with a lot of grapplers that can give Thompson a lot of problems from a stylistic standpoint. But for now, I don't see the problem with giving him some fights that make sense from a stylistic matchup. But for me, coming off this fight, I would like to see him again fight a similarly placed fighter to Holland, and I think a matchup that makes a ton of sense is Michel Pereira. That would be an absolute banger. Wonderboy told me earlier this year that that is a fight along with Holland that interested him. Going forward, he loved the stylistic approach for it. He loves the fact that Pereira is a wild, crazy, unorthodox striker, and I think that would just be a very excellent fight that you would have to watch. I'd love to see how those two would pair up against each other. He got his first wish in the fight with Holland. Now let's give him his other wish in a matchup with Michel Pereira coming off UFC on ESPN 42.